For some of us, we may not know or won't know how to gauge if we're in fact ready to leave the nest. So what we did is compiled some questions to ask yourself to see if you're in fact ready to leave the nest. I'm going to put these questions on the screen and then we'll kind of open the floor once again and see what we can help brothers out with. So check this out. How do I know if I'm ready to leave the nest? Well, first of all, how do I handle my urges? Are we still freaking out if we find ourselves triggered? If we rely upon willpower, if we're still, not reaching out to accountability partners as soon as possible, sort of those core essentials, right? If we're still trying to rely on our own strength, that might, again, be a telltale sign that some self-assessment is due. How supportive am I of others? Again, when it comes to the sense of community, it's take a penny, leave a penny. If you want consistent assistance, then you need to assist others. How supportive am I of others? Are you helping out as much as you wish to receive? How open am I to support, counsel, or coaching? If a reboot hero suggests for you to do something, or if a fellow brother calls you out for something, if JK calls you out for something, how does that feel? Is there resistance to that? Is there pride? Is there discomfort? Whatever it might be, take note of your initial reaction. It doesn't mean necessarily that you are 100% wrong, but to the point of you being kind of covering your ears going la 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 la, again, might be some self-assessment too. Do I respect my boundaries? Guys, this is about knowing yourself better than you know anything else. And that includes what makes you tick, what turns you on, what turns you off, and about giving yourself a routine, structure, and lifestyle that is as healthy for you as possible. Kind of goes along with what we were talking about before. I want to be normal. I want to go out and have 6 beers instead of just 2. Well, is that past a boundary? And why is that boundary put in place to begin with, right? So, question to ask yourself, have I healed or am I working on healing from past traumas? Guys, we all come from somewhere, but we are not the stories that we tell ourselves. Our feelings are valid and our history is real, but we are here now. So if we still find ourselves living vicariously in our past, not only are we never going to win, we're never going to move on. So if we find ourselves in a lot of those patterns where we're playing blame, shame, and, calling out someone else's name, again, some self-assessment is due. Just some questions to ask yourself. Again, it's just a way to audit where you're at. Again, more than just your PMO-related behaviors. Am I afraid of? Is there a thought in your mind where like, oh man, if I leave the group, that means I'm all alone. I won't have JK. I won't have Orestes, Dom, or Chris. I won't have the modules. What am I supposed? If you find your cortisol starting to rise with thoughts like that, again, self-assessment is due. How have I progressed in my life? Not just with your PMO-related behaviors, but in your everyday life. Are you using this newfound self-control, energy, and attitude and applying it into your life? Are you applying it to your body? Or are you applying it to your career? Are you applying it to your relationships, right? The other things that we're involved in. This is where Reboot Capital comes into play. How are you progressing? And I think the biggest of all, do I believe I'm worthy of a free life? Lots of things to consider, but let me open up the floor.
2 things really stuck out to me in this, and it says with regards to like, how do I handle my urges? And also, am I afraid of using, right? So the first one is interesting because, when you reach the end of the road or like near there, right? Urges aren't really a problem, right? But they're still kind of there. See, guys may tend to think that, once I'm totally free from it, then I'll never have the urge, or I'll never have like the thought or the idea of, going back or maybe using or watching something that's explicit. And that's not true. See, what's not going to happen to you though, when you're at the end of the road, is you're not going to end up being pulled nearly as hard by your urges, and you're going to be able to like assess it and make a decision. See, if you're at a point where you're like, let's say you're just for numbers sake, let's say you're at 1.5 years clean, right? And you end up getting an urge. What's not going to happen is like, if you're going to end up using, that's going to literally be your decision to do it. Like I chose to do this thing. But that's not the case when you're in the beginning. When you're in the beginning, it's almost as if you have no control over yourself. In fact, you actually don't. A lot of you guys want to quit and you're trying to quit and you can't quit because of due to the fact. And so you're going to be in a much better situation as far as this is more of a choice to use if you decide to do it, which I don't recommend, versus you having damn near no choice, which is why we have boundaries and accountability and rubber bands and checklists. And, we have coaching calls and all that in the first place. And so, how do I handle my urges is more like literally it's how do I handle them, meaning that I have a choice now, but can you handle your urges now at this point? And just real quick, am I afraid of relapsing? And that's an interesting question because, one of the things that gives you in terms of like the characteristics of a guy who uses a lot and a guy who's addicted is you become scared of a lot of different things. And so one thing that's kind of given back to you as you start to recover is your courage and your strength and your belief in your own self. And so, once you realize like, hey, I've been off of this for almost 2 years now, naturally, you're going to end up being in a situation where you're not going to be afraid of relapsing because you've already been working on yourself for this long anyways. And so, if you're kind of still questioning yourself, like, am I afraid of relapsing? And the answer is yes, then that might be a sign that, you may not be quite there yet, but you still are on a good path. And so, yeah, I love it.
That's good, man. I like what you said about choice. In the beginning, your consciousness surrounding like what is a natural urge or even looking at a woman if I'm aroused is not there yet. You're so conditioned to, oh, I'm gonna look at this woman, I'm gonna, fantasize and make this whole story and how she's gonna be into me all in your head. And you have no idea. You're right. It's not, you're not even in control yet. And once you kind of get those habits in check, oh yeah, you know what? I'm very conscious of what I do. I'm not in that trial rebooter mindset, right? We use that term here, trial rebooter, and more into like, okay, I'm more accepting of my limitations as like a human. I know what I control, what I could control, and the things that I can't control. And what you could control, right? Is like say, you control what time you wake up, what time you go to sleep, how hard you work. And when the urges come, you in a sense don't have control over that. But you do have a choice to ride that urge, right? And say like, okay, I'm gonna sit with it. I guarantee you, if you sit with it with like 5 minutes, it will go away. But most of us in the beginning, we're like, nah, this is too much. We don't even know where we feel the urge. We just feel it. We just call it urge. And to be able to differentiate the both and be like, you know what? I'm just going to sit with this. It's no different than when I started. How you handle urge when I started until now is the same. And kind of be like, all right, I know I could handle it. I'm not going to rely on JK, Orestes, Dom, or freak out, reach out to Chris too. I could handle it, right? That type of belief, that you got it right there. You're like, damn, okay. My awareness, my hope, my faith in myself has been, not to sound cheesy, it's been restored. And you keep increasing it. And that's what inspires others, right? When I see that, when I hear that, even when I interview brothers too, when I hear them talking like that, it's like, okay, they're on the right path. Like you said, take some inventory and look at the positive and look at the past and if there's some room for improvement, that's awesome, right? We always have room for improvement. And don't give too much meaning to urges, right? It's data. And the more you put a belief behind these things, the more it tends to like stick with you, or the urges, or that fear rather, the more story you have behind these things. So that's how I would kind of look at a brother when he says, I want to leave the group, brother, I want to leave, or I'm ready to leave, right? And they're confident. I'm like, hey, that's what we want. We want you guys to live your lives, right? Not a normal, quote unquote, normal life, but a life that, damn, I could make a difference. Or not everyone's into this type of work, right? But whatever it is in your life, purpose could be in music, could be in acting, whatever it is. So that always brings me like joy when I hear that. Like, I'm ready, bro. I'm like, hell yeah, let's go. And we ask the right questions, right? And I'll end it right there, not to go off topic.
Nah, it's so good. A question that I know I want to ask you guys. So we talked about like how we can tell if a guy is like really, really progressed, and come their renewal date, if they choose to move on, and leave the group, we know that they're ready. We know that they'll be solid. how do you know if someone might not be ready to leave the group? If they say like, yeah, I'm ready to leave the group, and it's kind of like, I don't think so.
I honestly, like, are you saying like if I ask them and they tell me, or like just based off their activity? Because truthfully, like I would look at their past history as far as like posting in the group and just their progress that they're displaying overall. Because, you know, if a guy's, you know, he's posting about every other week, or, you know, he keeps bitching and complaining in the group, or he's the type of guy who's like, you can just tell he doesn't have a control of his emotions. Like he's shit that's real, like just kind of out there emotionally. Like he might sit there and rant and talk about how he hates himself because he keeps using and then he wants to come in the group talking about I'm ready to leave. And then it doesn't sound like you are, my friend. So, you know, it really just it's just one of those things. It's like I said, like we all understand that like turns you to a different guy, right? If you took who you are as an addict and who you are as not an addict, and you put those characteristics on pieces of paper and you show them to you, dude, you're going to see two very different people. And so it's like, if you're still this guy and you're not even close to this guy, then you're not ready to leave the group. And so if you're that guy who's emotional, who's insecure, who's needy, the guy who's extremely sexually confused, you know, he has urges through the roof in the morning, it's like, you're not ready to go. But if you're the guy who's more calm, who's more collected, who's more chill and relaxed than he ever was before, and, you know, your characteristics are getting better, then I think you're on a good path.
I agree with that. Hell yeah. Because it's funny, man. You'll be like, oh, yeah, I'm good. But, you know, I still have dating apps. I still have social media apps, right? TikTok, Instagram. Yeah, you know, I still have these. And I still, you know, it makes me slip. But, you know, I think I'm ready to go. I was like, what the No, you're not, dude. You need to get up. You need to, well, I need to, right? We can't tell you guys what to do, but the fact that you're still so attached to maneuvering around the real hurt and now you don't want to deal with it. You still got work to do. You still need to go join a Milan session, right? Go join a Dr. Jessica, go join a Rankin or JK, or breaking the cycle call or a letting go call, right? One of those. You got to do something to actually reveal it. And I think that's where a lot of brothers, if you're too afraid to face things, that's an issue, right? It's going to affect you. It's going to hurt more knowing that you should do something.
One telltale sign of somebody who might not be ready to graduate, if you will, is inconsistency in doing the work. You know, again, like it is not a secret that everybody in this group is a smart person. Like if you're watching this, if you're listening to this, you're a smart person. Now, an intelligent person will see something like, simple example, the feelings exercise, watch that module and be like, all right, this makes sense to me. Let me move on. Again, this isn't just let me take the information and be on my way. It is, okay, how are you doing with it? You know, don't let a coaching call just be like a cool conversation. Like, please, like, take in what's being shared with you. Take in what's being suggested to you and actually put pen to paper and give it a try. It goes with that, you know, old school expression. In order to achieve something you've never achieved, you need to do something you've never done. But I mean, the cliche rings true. You know, I'll ask somebody who might be considering leaving the group. I'm like, okay, you know, what's your morning routine like? Oh, I don't really have one. Okay. You know, how you doing with like the modules? Keeping up with those? Yeah, I'll be honest, it's been a while. Like, all right. You know, how's your accountability partnership going? Yeah, I don't have one. And I'm like, bro, all right. So, okay. So we got to start from square one. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but it's like, we got to be real. This is where self-assessment is due. So all of that is definitely a thing. But I think it's worthwhile to kind of open up a conversation about gentlemen that have been here for a long time. We're always willing to help anybody who comes through this group, and we encourage the recovery and reboot of every single brother in this group. I guess the conversation began, you know, as, you know, how do you know if you're ready to graduate? You know, if you have a brother who decides to renew and then renew and re-renew and re-renew, again, we're going to help you no matter where you're at. And the fact that you are investing in yourself at all, kudos to you, right? Like you are putting skin in the game and making sure you're being held accountable to things you want to be held accountable to. But what do you think might prevent a veteran, so to speak, from kind of, again, jumping out of that nest and taking what he's learned through all these years and applying it to his own life? What's going on, brother? Thank you so much for tuning into this edition of Slips to Success. If you like what you saw, feel free to let us know down below in the comments. What was your favorite part? What was your biggest takeaway? And what will you be working on based on what you saw in this video? If you've got a question, feel free to ask us with the hashtag Slips to Success. And for all we know, it just might be the topic for the next time we do this. Stay tuned for next week's edition of us breaking down tips and techniques to bring you from slips to success.